Code 3. Elders and kits must be fed before apprentices and warriors. Caring for the weaker members of the clan lies at the heart of the way we live. We are taught to respect elders who fought for the clan in the past, and kits who can't yet hunt for themselves. However, moons ago, when the blood of warriors flowed thick and fast over Sunning Rocks, if you had asked a warrior what he or she fought for, the warlike answer would have shocked you. All that would change thanks to a visionary warrior called Splashheart, who went on to lead RiverClan and bring peace to the forest. Let me take you back. A mystical battle. Their shape was little more than a flicker beneath the surface of the water, a trembling shadow cast on the stones, crisscrossed with waving green fronds. Splashheart kept him absolutely still, waiting for the fish to come closer. Another flicker less than a tail length away, and Splashheart shot one paw, his unsheathed claws slicing through the cold water. When he felt his pad brush against the fat, slick body, he curled his paw and swiped it toward him. The fish flew out of the water, scattering silver droplets, and landed on the bank beside him, where he finished it off with a swift blow. "Good catch," said a voice behind him. It was Reedshine, the dark ginger she-cat who had mentored him only until 2 sunrises ago, when he received his warrior name. "Thanks," Splashheart purred. "Want to share?" Redshine padded closer and sniffed at the fish before taking a bite. Splashheart bent down and took a mouthful from the other side of the fish. This was only his second catch as a warrior, and it tasted as good as the first. On the other side of the river, Sunning Rocks loomed, casting a heavy black shadow onto the water. These smooth gray rocks quickly grew warm in the sun, making them perfect to lie on and share tongues or just watch the river sliding past below. Some of RiverClan's elders could remember when the river flowed on the other side of Sunning Rocks, cutting off RiverClan from ThunderClan's wooded territory. But then a great flood came one leaf bare, and the river burst its banks to surround the rocks until they resembled a bleak gray island. When the flood water went away, the river had carved a new course on RiverClan's side of the rocks. Before the next sunrise, ThunderClan had claimed Sunning Rocks as its own, swarming across the dried-out riverbed to set markers along the new riverbank. The clans had fought over them many times since, and at the moment, the set markers lay on the far side of the rocks, keeping ThunderClan firmly out. Splashheart narrowed his eyes. There was a cat creeping along the far riverbank, head and tail low. The cat was half hidden by the shadow from the rocks, but it was a leaner, sleeker furred shape than the RiverClan cats, who grew plump and thick pelted thanks to the watery prey. ThunderClan. "ThunderClan intruders on Sunning Rocks!" he howled. "I'll fetch help," Reedshine told him. "Stay on this side of the river until I get back." She plunged into the reeds, her orange pelt quickly vanishing among the rattling brown stalks. Splashheart's fur stood on end and his paws tingled. His first battle as a warrior. "This is our territory now, fish first," snarled the cat from the other side of the river. "Never!" Splashheart hissed. He sank his claws into the edge of the bank, ready to leap into the water and start the battle on his own. "Splashheart, wait!" Darkstar burst out from the reeds behind him. Splashheart whirled around to face his leader. "We can't let them get away with this," he protested. The small brown she-cat met his gaze. "We won't," she promised grimly. Dry stalks rattled behind her, and suddenly the bank was thronging with cats, warriors and apprentices, their fur fluffed up and their claws gleaming in the sun. "RiverClan, attack!" yowled Darkstar, plunging into the river. Splashheart scanned the rocks. Thanks StarClan they didn't seem to be outnumbered. Blackbee and Eeltail were chasing after a ThunderClan she-cat, who was streaking from the cover of the ferns at the bottom of the rocks. Reedshine held another warrior in a paw lock, hissing a warning into his face. Darkstar had satisfied herself with a quick slash of claws across the dark brown cat's ears, before standing back to let him run away, yowling. As the warrior's screeches faded among quivering ferns, Splashheart heard a scraping noise from behind a tumble of boulders. He gathered his haunches beneath him and sprang onto the top of the nearest boulder. A pair of terrified amber eyes stared up at him from the other side. "Don't hurt me!" bleated the small black and white cat, an apprentice by the look of him. "Then stay off our territory," hissed Splashheart. The ThunderClan cat didn't move. Instead, he curled his lip in a snarl. "Are you sure you want to threaten me, fish fur?" he challenged. Too late. Splashheart heard the scrape of claws on the rocks above him and felt a rush of air as two sleek-furred shapes landed, one at each flank. In a heartbeat, his face was thrust down against the rock. "Care to threaten us as well?" growled a voice in his ear, and the massive paw pressed harder on his neck. "Get off him and fight a cat your own size!" screeched a voice from the riverbank. Splashheart caught a glimpse of a dark orange fur leaping toward the boulders. Retrying, she crashed straight into the warrior, holding Splashheart down, and both cats plummeted into the narrow gap where the ThunderClan apprentice was crouching. The young cat jumped on top of Reedshine and began pummeling her belly with his forepaws. As Splashheart scrambled to his feet, he saw bright red streaks blossom in Reedshine's soft fur. He tried to jump down after her, but the other ThunderClan warrior swiped his hind paws from underneath him and rolled him over. The warrior loomed over him, her green eyes blazing. "StarClan changed the course of the river. She has Sunning Rocks belongs to ThunderClan now." "Never!" Splashheart spat, but the warrior pressed her paw against his throat, and the sky began to go dark and fuzzy. Suddenly there was a thud as two heavy bodies collided above Splashheart, and the weight on his throat lifted. He gulped down air, almost stopping when it felt like swallowing thorns. "Don't just lie there! Don't just lie there, Splashheart," hissed Darkstar, who crouched on the rock beside him. "Get down to the shore with the others, quick!" Splashheart sprang down to the stones at the edge of the water. The rest of the RiverClan warriors were huddled together, some of them belly deep in water. There was a scuffle behind him, and Splashheart turned to see Darkstar half carrying Redshine down the bank. The dark orange warrior left a trail of dark red smears behind her, and her eyes were half closed. Splashheart raced over to her. "Reedshine, wake up!" He looked at Darkstar. "We have to get her back to camp now!" Darkstar opened her mouth to let Reedshine sink gracelessly onto the stones. The leader's eyes were black with rage. "We will take her back," she promised, "but first we will reclaim what is rightfully ours." She raised her voice at the end so every RiverClan cat heard. They lifted their heads and stared at Darkstar in astonishment. "But the battle is lost," Steeltail spat. He jerked his muzzle toward the top of the rocks, where several ThunderClan warriors stood in triumph, their tails kinked high above their backs as they cheered at the defeated cats. It is only lost when we stop fighting," replied Darkstar. She jumped onto the riverbank so all the cats could see her. Our elders and our elders' kin and their kin before them fought to keep Sunning Rocks in our territory. Many of them lost their lives, giving up their last breath for stones that belong to us. Can we give up where they didn't? Turn tail and flee when they keep fighting so that their kids could hunt and play and bask on these rocks? Will you fight with me now in honor of all our elders and all our unborn kits? "We will! We will fight!" roared the RiverClan cats, and in that moment Splashheart saw the rocks swarming with starry shapes of cats who had gone before him, his clanmates from long ago, battling over and over to keep Sunning Rocks as their own. Now he would join them, set his paws where their paws once stood, and feel their battles echo around him as he proved himself worthy to walk among them. With a single yowl, the RiverClan cats surged up the riverbank and onto the boulders. The ThunderClan warriors stood in a line on the far side of the summit, staring at them in astonishment. "The battle is over!" snarled one of them, a broad-shouldered tabby with amber eyes. Darkstar faced him boldly, the fur standing up along her spine. "How can that be when we are not beaten?" she challenged. With a screech, the tabby sprang at her, but Darkstar sidestepped, spun around, and sank her claws into his back as he crashed to the floor. The RiverClan warrior leaped forward to meet the ThunderClan cats, the other ThunderClan cats, and Splashheart felt his teeth sink into soft white fur. He didn't let go until he dragged the cat to the edge of the rocks. "Go!" he ordered, releasing the cat's scruff at last. Without looking back, the warrior scrambled down the boulders and disappeared into the ferns at the edge of the ThunderClan's territory. "Good work," murmured a voice beside Splashheart. He had plunged back into the throng of cats, and for a moment he couldn't tell which cat was speaking to him. "Watch out for that black and white tom over there," the voice continued, and Splashheart saw a ThunderClan warrior stalking toward Eeltail, who was holding down the spitting she-cat. "Thanks," he gasped, and then crossed the open ground in 3 quick strides, leading squarely on the black and white cat. Eeltail turned at the noise and lifted his paw to see that the she-cat would flee. Then he joined Splashheart, and together they chased the black and white Tom after his frightened clanmate. When the 2 cats had gone, Splashheart realized that the sounds of battle had grown quieter, muffled as if he were underwater. "The battle had been won," whispered the voice. "Sunning Rocks is safe." Splashheart turned his head, the only part of his body he seemed able to move, and saw a faint glimmering cat standing beside him. Her fur was the color of floodwater, almost black with streaks of pale gray, and her tail was so long the tip of it rested on the rock. The River-clan scent hung around her, but he'd never seen her before. "Who are you?" The cat tipped her head. "My name is Aspentail," she replied. "I'm kin of your elders, and of your elders' elders. I fought for these rocks once, and I will fight for them again, for as many moons as it takes until ThunderClan learns that Sunning Rocks belongs to RiverClan." "Oh, I will fight with you," Splashheart vowed. Aspentail nodded and started to fade so that Splashheart could see the gray of the rock through her fur. Splashheart, who are you talking to?" Blackbee was standing behind him, looking puzzled. "Didn't you realize?" she demanded. "We won! Those fox-hearted ThunderClan cats won't set paw on Sunning Rocks now. Not for this moon, at least," Splashheart whispered. "But if they do, we'll fight them again. Aspentail, too." "What was that?" mewed Blackbee. "Are you okay, Splashheart? You're not wounded, are you?" No, I'm fine," Splashheart promised. "Cats of RiverClan," Darkstar was summoning her warriors to the center of the summit. "Sunning Rocks belongs to us once more, and in honor of our elders and their kin before them, who never stopped fighting to defend our borders, we will catch fish on our way home and feed it to the oldest and youngest cats of the clan. This victory is for them." Some of the warriors looked surprised, but Splashheart nodded. He would catch the plumpest fish he could find in memory of Aspentail and take it straight to the elders' den, and if he ever became leader of his clan, he would make it part of the warrior code that elders and kids should be fed first, in honor of all they had done, and all they would do for his clanmates to come.